Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm honestly so thrilled you're here with us today because, well, we're going to unpack a truly profound piece of philosophy. It's a concept that hits right at the core of the human condition, dealing with our anxieties, our intellect, and that huge ultimate search for meaning. We're going to look at this fascinating thought experiment. It basically compares our super complex, highly developed human minds to something incredibly simple. It's literally the kind of idea that shifts your entire perspective the second you grasp it. So get comfortable and let's explore this beautiful philosophical puzzle together. Section 1. Sparrow and Human. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to picture a super vivid, peaceful mental image, okay? Just a tiny sparrow resting on a branch. It sings, it flies around, it gathers a few seeds, and it lives entirely in the present moment. It's got absolutely zero baggage. It is completely unburdened by past regrets, and it definitely doesn't lose a single second of sleep over future anxieties. It just exists peacefully in the now. But then contrast that with the human mind. We are so incredibly advanced, right? Yet we are constantly burdened by past memories, like stressing over things we said 5 years ago or mistakes we've made. And we're constantly weighed down by future anxieties, worrying about bills, careers, our health, and basically what tomorrow might bring. So this brings us to a core existential question, and I want to ask you directly. Is the highly developed human mind actually more peaceful than the sparrow? Really think about that for a second. We consider our intelligence to be our absolute greatest asset as a species, our ultimate evolutionary triumph. But what is the actual cost of that intellect? Are we genuinely happier, or are we just, infinitely more capable of stressing ourselves out? Section 2, 20 times lower. The influential thinker Bediüzzaman Said-Nursi introduces this really striking piece of, well, let's call it philosophical math. He argues that humans possess roughly 20 times the mental and emotional capital of a bird. We've got imagination, deep empathy, complex logic, long-term planning, the whole shebang. But here's the catch. If life is just about this temporary physical world, like if survival is our only goal, we actually risk falling 20 times below that bird in actual lived happiness. We literally take our massive emotional capital and use it to stress out over an awkward conversation from years ago or a slightly delayed email. Our huge capacity for thought just becomes a massive capacity for suffering. So the crucial point is how Bediüzzaman captures this tragedy perfectly. He states, if this life is limited only to the world, then for conscious beings, especially humans, this equipment will remain meaningless and useless. What he's telling us here is that our vast mental equipment, our incredible ability to perceive time, to analyze things, to remember, it actually becomes a tragic liability if it's restricted only to worldly survival. Think about it. If there is nothing beyond the physical, then having a mind this powerful just to merely eat, sleep, and eventually die is literally like using a supercomputer as a paperweight. It's just a tragic mismatch of equipment to purpose. Section 3. The Inverse Proportion Paradox. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down exactly why this phenomenon occurs. We call it the inverse proportion paradox. It's the philosophical concept where higher intelligence and consciousness actually lead to lower happiness if those traits are devoid of eternal meaning. It makes sense, right? In a purity material world, the less you know, the better off you are. Ignorance truly would be bliss. But because we know so much, our immense consciousness basically acts as a giant magnifying glass for existential dread, unless it's anchored to a higher purpose. This paradox relies on 3 specific mechanisms, basically the heavy burdens of the mind. First up, more consciousness. This means we're acutely, sometimes painfully, aware of our own mortality and the fleeting nature of joy. Second, more memory. This evolutionary gift ensures we hold on to grief, trauma, and loss way, way after an event has actually passed. And third, more thinking capacity. This just creates an infinite playground for overthinking and fabricating absolute worst-case scenarios. Separated from a higher eternal purpose, these 3 incredible gifts just transform into heavy, unbearable weights. Honestly, they just give us more things to worry about. Section 4. The Meaning of Creation. Let's move to and see how this builds toward a really powerful resolution. So we've established the paradox and the heavy burden of the human mind. But now let's explore the resolution through a spiritual lens. This Quranic verse states, "He who has made everything which he has created most good, and he began the creation of man from clay." Now, this deeply shifts the paradigm. It tells us that this heavy human consciousness isn't some cosmic accident or a random evolutionary misstep. No, it is an intentional, beautiful design. The reason our minds are just too big for surviving in this temporary world is because, well, they weren't built exclusively for it. Our vast mental capacity is designed to recognize the Creator, to seek eternal meaning, and to truly understand the profound depths of existence. When we align our intellect with that higher, infinite purpose, the paradox completely breaks. The burden is reframed from a pointless weight into the exact vehicle of our spiritual elevation. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to ask you something personal. Have you ever caught yourself saying, or even just thinking, man, I wish I didn't think so much. I wish I was as carefree as a bird. Take a second to really look at that feeling. The next time you feel completely overwhelmed by life, by the sheer weight of your own thoughts and anxieties, ask yourself why you felt that way in that exact moment. Could it be that your incredible, boundless mind is simply searching for a meaning large enough to hold it?